Hello, so I want to tell you about my experience when I found a job after 4 years without professional employment. This happened very recently, probably about less than 1 month ago. So I have been without a job in the professional industry that I have been working for at least 16 years. I'm a software developer in IT. I work mainly with the database development. So this is not related to those more common, let's say, developer jobs like web developer. I'm not that kind of developer, even though I could be, but that's probably the topic for another video. Anyway, so I was found, let's say, on LinkedIn by a recruiter. We went through the motions with the recruitment process, and the recruitment process was kind of straightforward because I was, let's say, perfect fit, maybe a little bit overqualified for the job, but it was a very good fit for the job. My profile fit the job perfectly. There were no gaps whatsoever. For some context, I'm currently living in Mexico, and this job was to be uh, on site, which was not my preference. I was really more interested in something remote, but I decided to compromise and accept the job anyway. So I accepted the job. It was supposed to be, familiar with the Mexican laws, and everything was normal, nothing strange, except for the fact that it's very common in Mexico that a lot of recruitment companies, they pay you the minimum wage, so they will pay uh, the least amount of taxes, the least amount of benefits that law mandates, and then under the table they pay you everything else. So the salary itself wasn't terrible, considering that it is for Mexico, but it still was considerably less than what I was earning in previous jobs. Regardless, I accepted the job because I thought it was a good way to get back on track and maybe catching up with a lot of debt that I have. Just for context, I have about probably 35,000 US dollars in debt. Probably about 32,000 of those are in the US. 6,000 is with a person, a friend that he helped me along these 4 years with some money. He lent me some money, and the 26,000 are for credit card debt. Anyway, going back to the story, I got this job. I signed the contracts in the company, which are usually terrible conditions in Mexico for employers, even if the law says that there are some rights. In reality, there is nothing that you have in your favor. Anyway, so I went to the company the first day. I even bought myself a pair of jeans because since I had been so much time without working, I didn't have proper jeans for work, so I bought a new pair of jeans, went to the office, and everything was apparently fine. I met one of my colleagues, which was very helpful, and he was telling me about the work environment, about the culture, how everything was supposed to work, and he helped me to fill some paperwork where I was going to pick up a laptop, to a company provided laptop to do my work. And I talked to the person who was going to be my supervisor, and he said, okay, here is your laptop. Then you are supposed to attend a meeting. We are going now. So I was just listening because I didn't have my laptop at the moment. Anyway, after that, I asked, okay, maybe you have some documentation for the system that I can look at. And he said, yeah, here it is. You can take a look at the documentation. And I looked at the documentation, which was very poorly written. there was no consistency. It was really not in a very sequential manner. There was no organization. Regardless, I finished it, and then I came back to him saying, okay, I finished this, maybe you have something else I can look at. And he was so surprised that I was surprised as well. He was surprised that I finished. He says, oh, but it was a lot. I was, yeah, I already finished. So that was kind of a, let's say, a warning for me, red flag as people call it. And also he somehow mentioned that there was some kind of dress code in the office, which was probably ignored by most people, but because I was new, I was supposed to probably most closely adhere to it. And he basically said that I shouldn't wear jeans or sneakers, even though everyone in the office was wearing them. So that was kind of idiotic from my point of view, but I decided to just obediently and submissively say, yeah, sir, I understand, whatever. So I left the office on time, not 1 minute sooner, not 1 minute after, because that's what you need to do in Mexico. If you leave even 1 minute sooner, you're straight to jail, let's say. Anyway, when I was still on the public transportation, on my way home, I received a message on WhatsApp from the recruiting company telling me that the next day I shouldn't present myself to the office. So that was it. Not even face-to-face conversation with the boss. He just decided he didn't like me. I was too fast to understand their crappy documentation, and I was too poorly dressed for their fancy clothes, office code, whatever that was. So that's that kind of sums up the work culture, office culture in Mexico. Is they are the bosses and they are the owners of your life. They dictate what you should do, how you should think, how you should dress, how you should talk, or anything else. And not only that, but in a very bizarre turn of events, he felt intimidated by me reading the documentation so efficiently that he thought I was, I don't know, not reading it. I cannot understand. I cannot guess what he was thinking, of course, because there was no indication of what was really going on. So that's part of my story. I have not been posting so much on TikTok lately or in YouTube, where I lost most of my subscribers anyway, because YouTube does that if you don't post every day, I guess. As stupid as it is, that's the way things go. So if you're interested in this, if you have some questions or comments, they are mostly welcome. I hope to see you again in the next one. Take care.